Stefan, thank you for accepting this interview on behalf of ALAFAVE. We go back a long time now in the candle industry, and it's been a pleasure to see you every time that we get the opportunity, like this time at the World Candle Congress, the 8th one. Do you recall when was your first time that you attended one of our World Candle Congress?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks a lot for the invitation, Isabel. So with pleasure, and I'm happy to be here again at the World Candle Congress, and it's actually the 2010 World Candle Congress in Orlando as well, which was the first one I attended.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you missed the Cancun one.
Unfortunately, yes, but that was too soon for me.
Yeah, that was too soon. And I understand at that time, the European candle manufacturers were kind of like in two different associations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, yes. So indeed, back in 2010, we had two different European associations, which is kind of strange if you think about that the candle industry is not the biggest one. But back in that time, we had different objectives, we had different kind of membership, and it was, well, over the years, and notably, I would say it was the only European World Candle Congress so far, 2019 in Barcelona, where we actually realized that the two different associations were very close together when it comes to objectives in the meantime. And so you can see that as a starting point for the merger discussions we had, which actually ended in the merger in 21. Yeah. So in the meantime, we're only one big candle association in Europe, and I think everybody's very happy with it.
And I am too. I was part of that part in 2019 because I had the pleasure together with you to co-host, with ECA and AECM at that time, to co-host the 6th World Candle Congress. Yes. And here we're back until the 8th. And ALAFAVE has kind of a little bit of an interest in hosting it again in Europe. So we hope that our associations now with ECMA and NCA, that we can kind of move in towards that direction. And our members are eager to understand the industry in Europe a little bit better. Can you tell us a little bit more about the candle industry in Europe?
Well, sure. So it's, I would say, a very inhomogeneous industry. So we have members that start from one or two persons, companies, or even workshops, I would say. And we have at the same time the largest manufacturers in Europe. So that is sometimes a challenge because the objectives are not always identical, but we really do our best to suit all types of membership we actually have in the association.
Yeah, I recall in 2019, and I never forget that you told me that the membership at that time of the big ones was 60% of the volume of the candle industry. Is that still that was for the other association at that time? So if you see it in like a global market, what percentage do you think of volume is European candle manufacturers moving? Do you have a number on that, or?
You mean the percentage of the European manufacturers on the global market?
Yeah, do you have one?
Actually, I have no idea.
Well, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
What opportunities do you see that we can continue working where we help out each other between the Latin American candle industry and the European candle industry? If you have that foresight or where we want to go, what things, because there's always common ground in all of them, and I think it just makes us grow the candle industry in general. What do you think we can be doing there?
Yeah, I think one of the objectives we very certainly share is joint communication. So that is something I would really see as a big benefit for the associations globally, because our common ground is candles. So what we're interested in is really pushing the picture consumers have with candles, I would think, and also maybe also encourage them to, so at least in Europe, many consumers still see the candle as sort of a source of light, which is nowadays not really living up to what we have in mind for candles. So we would rather see it as a, yeah, an object of home interior design and also home fragrance. And this is something I think we can still learn quite a bit from the other associations, that we push this more sophisticated picture of candles.
It's funny how you're bringing it up, because we're seeing that tendency now a little bit more, and it's growing in the Latin American countries as well. But we're still very heavy on religious candles. But you see that emerging candle market coming that is on here in the States, they call it the wellness candle burning, and with the aroma and the glass ones. And do you still use a lot of candles for like dinners and stuff in the European market?
Well, that used to be a very, very important sector in Europe, but unfortunately, we see, especially in the restaurant sector, that they use less and less candles for, I don't know, for having a very nice atmosphere created on the table. So that's definitely a trend I'm not happy with. But otherwise, religious candles is still a very important use in Europe. And as you know, so compared to the US, for example, the scented candles are, I mean, they're increasing in the market share, but it's still a very long way to go to have it positioned the same way as it's done in the US.
Okay. Moving forward, and I'm thinking a little bit ahead for the 9th World Candle Congress, and we always bring that question up because I've been, as you very well know, part of it from the very beginning. But I'm happy to communicate that this one is probably going to be the second largest one attended this year. But what opportunities do you see, or what venues do you think would be good so that we have a lot more people from Europe attending to a World Candle Congress?
Well, I would say nowadays the making it easily accessible. So that's probably the key point.
Okay.
Together with an attractive venue.
Okay.
And to be honest, I think Orlando was not the perfect choice, which can also be seen in the low participation of European manufacturers. Well, we've been here a couple of times already, so it's getting less and less tempting. So what I would really see as a constructive improvement in the future is really agreeing on a venue that is easily accessible for the participants of all associations. So.
Can you tell us a little bit more of what your membership is seeking when they come to an event like the World Candle Congress?
Well, I guess it's mostly networking, to meet with their peers from other parts of the world. And of course, there are always companies who are interested in building up, business in different parts of the world. And for them, it's, of course, an excellent option to get first-hand information, to meet with relevant people. So that's probably the driver for most of our members who come here.
What challenges do you foresight in the candle industry in Europe for the next coming years? Do you have a little bit of an idea there? Or?
Well, there are a couple of very different ones, I would say. So what is very, up to date right now is, of course, how it's going to be developed, or how it's going to develop with all these tariff discussions from the US. So that is certainly going to have an influence on how both the supply chains of base material will work out, but also how the markets for the final candles will look like. So that is something we're, of course, watching with great interest and see how that will pan out in the end. And on the other hand, I would say sustainability, which is a very big word, of course, but that is one of the key topics our members and also the association is working on. and it's getting increasingly important. And I would say a third big challenge is actually the ever-increasing regulatory requirements. So that is something, especially in Europe, we've seen with policies coming up, new policies coming up in an incredible pace that manufacturers need to comply with. And that's, I mean, it's hard for the large manufacturers, but at least they have the financial possibilities to have their own departments really focusing on these kind of topics. But imagine that it's a very small candle manufacturer, and that is just something that comes on top of their daily business. And
sounds like a burden.
Of course, yeah, of course it is. And but that's also one of the key reasons why associations like ours exist, because of course it is our task to prepare everything so that people can make the best use of it and understand the sometimes very complex topics. And on the one hand, in this topic, so we make sure that people are aware of what is out there in terms of regulatory requirements already, and to make sure that they comply with it. But on the other hand, it's also important to look into the future and to see what policies come up in the future or might come up.
Yeah.
And to, on the one hand, explain it in advance to our members so that they can prepare. And on the other hand, and that's the ideal solution, if we see an issue for the candle industry, that we can also make an attempt to influence that still.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have loved for Amilcar Lucinchi, our president, to be present here today, because he's so big on everything that is sustainability right now. And that's something that we're pushing on behalf of ALAFAVE and trying to educate our candle manufacturers in Latin America too, so that consciousness is that they become more aware. And we always look up to the European market, because I think in sustainability you're ahead in many ways. So what advices can you give to the candle manufacturers in Latin America on some of the things that they can implement so that we all kind of leave a less carbon footprint in this world? Or
so I think the best advice I can give is don't wait, get started. And please keep in mind that you do not have to start at 100%. You can do it in small steps. You can start very easy with, I would say, very manageable objectives you have. And the key point in sustainability is to get better every year. But it doesn't have to be perfect at the beginning. Just get started, and you will see it's not that complicated as it looks like. If you're just looking at the entire topic of sustainability, it's really, it shies you off, because it's just so large a topic. But just take it step by step, and you will see it's not that complicated at all.
do you see in the future how we can work together as associations so that we continue to bring information to all our members that is kind of aligned, and that we continue promoting that, at least add 1% per year into that direction?
Well, of course, I would say that continuous exchange, both, well, between the leadership and also the staff of the associations, is certainly the best way to go. So this is what we've done in the past, and this is something that we should definitely continue doing in the future. And then what I can see as an immediate topic where we can work together with is, for example, webinars. Because, I mean, the candle industries are very different at some points or at some topics from continent to continent. But on the other hand, we're talking about more or less the same product. And there are points that are very similar to our associations, or even identical. So what I would see is that we could better work together on educating our membership on certain topics.
We in ALAFAVE, we totally agree on that. And we've always been open to exchange information, and that we continue giving that support to the candle industry in general, and that I think is a wonderful way of putting it. And we've also worked together on some of those researches for emissions and things. Do you have any other research in mind that would be interesting for the candle industry that we can work as organization together, or in sponsoring it, or any of that, or in the near future? Because the other one was quite a long time, and I know that you did a lot with it. But I think it's helpful, and it's out there, and we got something to defend ourselves against bad media, which is needed, and our candle manufacturers need it.
Yes.
So, and I know that one got published, and so now they have scientific proof whenever they have to defend the candle industry. You have any other research topics in mind that we could start addressing as candle manufacturers?
Yeah, I would say that scented candle emissions, so that was certainly the topic that needed
to be addressed.
That needed scientific research badly, I would say. So I'm very happy that that project has been concluded successfully, and indeed it helps a lot to defend the industry against the typical allegations we get. At the moment, I do not see anything that is similarly important, but we will definitely keep our eyes open, and as soon as we have any topic that requires research, you can be sure that we will definitely reach out to ALAFAVE as well, because I mean, as I mentioned before, so we're sitting in the same boat, we're defending the same product, so why should we do the work twice?
Sounds great. And like we all know, the hot potato is defending our industry with bad media, you know?
Exactly.
So do you see any opportunities with all that information gathered at that research that we can do like little capsules extracting information that our members can just have at their fingertips that information to defend their candle industry?
It's very nice that you bring that up, because that's something we're actually working on already.
Okay.
So same as you probably have, we also have the typical allegations from the media, and also the nonsense you can find all over the internet about, I don't know, different base materials and things like that. And that's why we decided to do sort of a proactive development of such position papers. And the idea is really to have scientifically based but easy to understand positions, and what we want to do is to really build them up as blocks, so in case it's not something very specific you get as sort of an allegation or request, so that you can put together a more complex response to certain topics by just using them as a building block.
Okay.
And so the first of these position papers has just been published, so that's about lead in wicks, so which is also some of the myths you see in the internet all over, and it doesn't really stop. So that's the one we started with.
Okay, that's great to hear.
And again, so it's not like we put these positions in a drawer, so we will publish them on our website, so it's public, and we maybe with doing it like that, we also create a bit more scientific and realistic understanding of the topics. So that's definitely a topic or kind of an area where the two of our associations could cooperate, I think.
What do you think about the idea to counterweight all those attacks that might come, at least in relational countries like Latin America? They still go, sadly enough, with a lot of social media and some like a little viral TikTok video, if you want, or reel or something, that we could work on it, kind of just to bring it out on social media, just to counteract that information. I know that you want to have that scientific background or stuff, but maybe from there to gather the ones that need that scientific information too, but to to ease or appease the consumers. Do you think that's something that you would be interested?
Absolutely. So when I mentioned the scientific basis for the positions, I did not mean to provide them in scientific language.
Okay.
So of course, it's very important that we provide the positions in an easy to understand language. So therefore, having, campaigns on TikTok or wherever that explains maybe a very complex topic in easy to understand language is definitely needed. It's just important that what we communicate is really backed by science. But that's what we take care of course.
That's great. Well, I'm looking forward for the many opportunities we will be having in the next years to work together. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Well, just that I'm very happy to be here at the World Candle Congress. It's, I think, extremely successful. From what I've seen so far, it's well organized. So it's really a pleasure to be at such a very professional and very nice and helpful meeting.
Thank you for being here. And we always appreciate all our ECMA members to participate. And we would have loved to have a lot more engagement, but thank you for being here.
Well, same here. Thank you very much, Isabel.